Hello, you are welcome to another message of Auntie Dada's Corner. And today's message is on men who secretly regret marrying their wives. There are some signs those men shows, and those are the signs that we are bringing to you. So when you notice your husband exhibiting this type of sign, you know that he regrets marrying you. 1. He avoids spending time with his wife. Spending quality time with your partner is a pleasurable necessity in marriage. For couples who are in love, why they do it because it is important. They also do it because they enjoy it. A man who loves his wife will want to spend time with her. It is that simple. This doesn't mean he doesn't give her space or he's all over her. A man can spend quality time with his wife while still respecting her privacy. So that shouldn't be mistaken as avoiding quality time with you. When a man secretly regrets marrying his wife, he avoids spending quality time with her. Why they do it is because it is important. They also do it because they enjoy it. A man who loves his wife will want to spend time with her. It is that simple. This does not mean it doesn't give her space or is all over her. A man can spend quality time with his wife while still respecting her privacy. So that should be mistaken as avoiding quality time with her. When a man secretly regrets marrying his wife, he avoids spending quality time with her altogether. It looks like a total boycott of his wife. He always wants to be left alone. He will make excuses to avoid you and sometimes even sound angry when avoiding your attempt to spend time with him. A few years back, I shared the house with a married couple. I had my apartment, but sometimes you could hear conversation from the neighbor's apartment, especially at night when it was really quiet. They usually had quarrels, and the starting point of most of their issue was the man wanting to be left alone. He once shouted, "Allow me to think. Things I had enough in this country without you disturbing me unnecessarily." When a man secretly regrets marrying you, he will use anything as an excuse to avoid spending quality time with you. Anything. Two is bitter. I had a conversation about marriage with my lecturer and came away feeling like a marriage with a prison to the free spirit. In that short conversation, he painted such a bleak picture of marriage that I almost decided to spend the rest of my life single. Do you want to know the craziest part? He's married. My married lecturer has a bleak view of marriage, yet remains married. That was a mystery to me. Why would he remain married if marriage made him feel the way he described it to me? I realized that many reasons and responsibilities may have kept him in a marriage he clearly regrets. However, he spoke to me about marriage through the lenses of his bitterness and regret. My point is that when you sometimes hear married people speak about marriage briefly, it could be a sign that they regret being married. I'm sure my lecturer didn't mean to give me such insight into the probable state of his marriage. However, when a man secretly regrets his marriage, his bitterness about marriage will show, regardless of how much he tries to hide it. A major sign that a man secretly regrets his marriage is his skeptical view of happy marriage online. He may say, "People just pretend to be what they are not on social media." While it is true that social media is full of pretense, his default stance about happy marriage is that they don't exist, which tells you lot about his marriage. 3. He remembers his bachelor days fondly. The day of freedom, a friend's father had this to say about his bachelor day. I even though I laugh and wonder if he was no longer free. He did seem to be in bondage, but some bonds are not physically seen. Now don't get me wrong. I stand thinking that every man will remember his bachelor day with nostalgia regret his marriage. It is normal to feel nostalgia when looking back on the past. especially when you had a lot of fun. However, if it is all that he talks about happily, then there is a problem. A happily married man can speak of his single day fondly, but he will also have a lot of good things to say about marriage. He will speak fondly about his marriage and show enthusiasm for the future of the marriage. Life, not leap backward. So while we remember the past, we should also look forward to the future. However, if he secretly regrets ever marrying his wife, he won't be able to contemplate the future enthusiastically. Rather, he will speak so fondly of his single day that you may get the feeling that he will prefer going back to being a bachelor. 4. Process is routine. When a man secretly regrets marrying his wife, it is evident in his attitude to sex. When a man is in love, he doesn't view sex as just another activity. Rather, he approaches with devotion of an ardent worshipper who is worshipping at the temple. For a man in love, sex is not just an activity. And this is one obvious way to know when your husband secretly regrets marrying you, because he won't be able to make love to you anymore. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean he will stop having sex with you. Actually, he may reduce the frequency with which he has sex with you. 5. He mentioned it indirectly. One of my favorite quotes comes from the Bible. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. This verse is a reminder that when people say things jokingly, they may actually mean it. Hence, you shouldn't just discount everything a person says jokingly. When a man secretly regrets marrying you, he may mention it in passing. He may explicitly say he regrets marrying, but he may imply it in some of his statements and jokes. One time I was talking to a married friend about marriage. He replied, "Don't get married if you want to enjoy life," and laughed like he had just made a joke. Maybe it was a sorry attempt at a joke, but I felt that it was actually indirectly saying he wasn't enjoying his marriage. If your husband constantly states how different his life would have been if he hadn't married, it may be a sign that he secretly regrets marrying you. 6. Is critical of his wife. I used to hate criticism. It always made me feel like I didn't know what I was doing. I soon realized that my aversion to criticism was a byproduct of pride. There and then I made it a point of duty to encourage criticism, constructive ones. Although I sometimes stay shy under the weight of some criticism, I believe I'm better. My point is that criticism is necessary for improvement, so I'm not even talking about those occasional criticism from your husband when you're obviously wrong. The kind I speak of is better described as nitpicking. This is when your husband always seems to find something you did wrong, despite the many other positive things you have done. He literally ignores your good quality and look for place just because he wants to complain. Really, when a man secretly regrets marrying you, he may turn a blind eye to your efforts and good qualities. You could do all the good things in this life and he wouldn't notice. But the moment you just do something slightly wrong, he will bounce on that mistake like a lion bouncing on his prey. It doesn't always end with criticism. He also compares you to other women. He compares you with them so much that you may get the distinct impression that you would rather be married to them than to you. 7. He says negative things about you in your absence. When a man is happily married, he usually displays a tendency to talk about his wife all the time. I remember when my sister had just gotten married and I got tired of hearing phrases that side with my husband. Sure, how did he enter this conversation? I would wonder, but he was always talking about his thing positively. Men are no different. They love to talk about the people they love. When a man secretly regrets marrying his wife, he may display marked reluctance to talk about her. He may avoid questions about his wife. and he may avoid questions about his wife, and whenever he finally speaks her, he will probably have nothing good to say. Sometimes I hear some married men talking about their wives, and I pity the poor women. What they say about their wife usually make me wonder why they still married. Issues that bad. 8 is stop sharing personal details. Happily married couples know that marriage is all about sharing. They have learned to share their thoughts, feelings, and experience with each other. This what boosts intimacies in relation. The ability to share all of you with your partner. But when a man secretly regrets marrying his wife, he begins to share less of his personal life with her. If your husband secretly regrets marrying you, you may notice that he doesn't really talk to you about his day. His thoughts and feelings are like valuable gem stored in a vault. You have no idea of what he's thinking, or you have no idea of what he's thinking or feeling. You begin to feel like you are with a stranger. When you start feeling like you don't know anything about your husband, it may just be a sign that he secretly regrets marrying you. Seeing this sign in your marriage can be a scary thing. However, you should view recognizing the sign as the first step to addressing the underlying issues in the marriage. Honestly communicating your feelings to your husband and listen to the reason he acts this way may also help you understand why a man who used to be so in love suddenly regret marrying you. You may need to consider looking at yourself closely. Perhaps he may be reacting to something you have done. This is not an attempt to blame him for his behavior. It's just an attempt to understand and explain it. You may also consider seeking professional counseling to deal with this issue and achieve a healthier marriage. The fact that your husband secretly regrets the marriage doesn't have to be the end of the marriage. Regret can be turned into happiness. Once again, all that needs is determination to put in the work and patience, because change won't happen in one day. It is just an attempt to understand and explain. You may also consider seeking professional counseling to deal with these issues and achieve a better marriage. The fact that your husband secretly regrets the marriage doesn't have to be the end of man. Regret can be turned into happiness once again. All that is needed is the determination to put in the work and patience, because the changes will happen. Thank you for listening.